Okay, this is kind of a brief walkthrough for the digital gauge cluster that you can typically find on AliExpress. The seller that I found mine on, unfortunately, is no longer selling the device, but you can find a lot of similar gauge clusters. I'm under the impression that it's probably all from the same builder, but don't quote me on that. I just want to make sure that everyone's aware. When I did receive this gauge cluster, I had my original Lexus steering wheel from the OEM GX470 wheel. It didn't have steering wheel controls for a multi-informational display, so I had to rig a set of buttons. The gauge cluster comes with a plug-and-play harness and then another harness that goes out typically to your steering wheel controls, but since most of our vehicles don't have those steering wheel controls, you would have to rig up a button setup. Similar to connecting a steering wheel, when you're connecting a steering wheel controls to an aftermarket stereo, making those work together is very similar. So this is what I have here. It's just a button that's wired up to the harness. It's 4 wires. I believe there is a up and down. There's a line that will control the up and down wire. There's a line that will control the left to right and light up. But don't quote me on any of that. It was all trial and error when I was setting it up, but I was able to do that. So I'm able to press the buttons, and that's how I'll be manipulating the display here. So right now you can see this is the sports cluster. If I press OK, I'll go into a set of menus here. I'm going to go to return so I can go to the menu above that sub menu that I was showing you right now. So we have trip, fuel information, and system settings. You can click OK and it'll give you more. So we have in the information area, we have trip A. Tire pressure, I'm not using the tire pressure monitor from the car. I'm using an aftermarket setup. This is a Schrader TPMS system. I like it because it also tells you the temperature for each wheel. It's solar powered, so I never have to plug it into anything, and it just works. Anyway, so here we have service information, so you can have all your different intervals for maintenance here. You can customize your own. Let's see, information area display. So you can have the information area configuration, the left part. I have it for after refueling. You can select different ones. The G sensor is on to the right now. It's the crosshairs you see right there with a little dot in the middle. It does move around. It does function as a G sensor for G-force. Going here, we have our system settings. For trip information, we have our different, we have your mileage. You can reset your trip meters whenever you'd like. Looks like I just accidentally reset my trip A meter. I did input the actual mileage to the vehicle. You could keep it at 0 if you want, but I did put down the actual mileage from my original gauge cluster. So we have the different types of mileage indicators after startup, after reset, after refueling. This will return you back to the higher menu. Fuel information. Right now, this is the only one I can't change. This is in kilometers. The range, however, is in miles, and it is accurate to a degree. I would still, use the, the gas gauge, the gas gauge that's right there. Use that mainly, and then I have my scan gauge tool that gives me more accurate miles to empty there as well. So notice it timed out, but I can always go back. So I'm going to go back here, and so we have information. I think I went over trip information, fuel information. We just went over system settings. So you can choose different styles. You have your simple, you have your comfortable, which is your traditional 2-gauge setup. I like the sport because it kind of reminds me of the F Sport gauges a little bit. You can set up your date, time, system language. Mine's mine's on English right now. You can get out of that menu. General settings, you can set up your brightness. They have a warning speed. I guess that's the reason for the beeps. I wasn't aware of that. Should probably change that. You have your factory settings. There's a menu for that. I'm not gonna get into. Let's see if I can get out of that. There we go. If you want the factory settings, you'd have to reach out to the seller. They'll give you the code for that. I had to do that for firmware updates, and they walked me through the whole process. This is the version information, protocol upgrade return. You might have to use a protocol upgrade for firmware updates, or they may send you to a deeper setting in the factory settings. So overall, there it is. Everything works. Latency is just fine. If I rev the engine, you can see the needle update. There's a kind of how it updates there. With the speed, it does match up to the OEM speed. I am running 32s, I believe, right now, so it does throw off the gauge cluster a little bit, but I have my scan gauge already adjusted for that. So I mainly use this for the actual speed. This kind of gives me a general idea of what the speed is, because it does vary. It's about, I'd say about, I'm not exactly sure the percentage, but there is a difference between running the stock wheels and then the larger diameter wheels as well. But there you have it. There is the full walkthrough for everything here. Any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll do the best I can. I'm pretty novice at all this. I just took a chance and ordered the gauge cluster, and it worked out pretty well for me. I do have experience with some other digital gauge clusters as well, if you have any questions. Thanks.